From Bloomberg, who Hollywood thinks will buy Warner Brothers. We asked more than 700 industry experts to name the best streaming service, worst CEO, and next big movie star. Now, before you think this is a Warner Brothers segment, it is not actually. It is actually a Disney segment, specifically talking about the new Disney CEO that will, well, we think will be announced in 2026. Of course, Disney could obviously surprise us. What's important here is that they asked 700 industry experts in Hollywood what they thought about a range of topics, not just who they felt was going to get Warner Brothers. If we scroll down right here, we can actually see where this article will take us. Who will be the next CEO of Disney in 2027? Top answer, Josh Giamaro. Runner up, Dana Walden. And last place, another Disney candidate. Walden was the top answer every previous time we asked. But this poll reflects the growing conventional wisdom in Hollywood, as well as our reporting. Almost 1/5 of respondents think Bob Iger isn't going anywhere. Now that is is not super good right there. But that's the thing I wanted to highlight here. Dana Walden had this, we all thought, in the bag for various reasons. But Josh Giamaro has emerged not just within our circles, but within Hollywood itself. Right there. I want to go ahead and get from you guys, what do you think about the results of this poll of Josh Giamaro taking the lead amongst his Hollywood contemporaries? Your thoughts, please.
I think Josh Giamaro and Dana Walden should just be at the top of the castle and just have like a battle to the death with sticks or something like that to decide the CEO position. I'm like, do it with honor, you know?
Is that like the Joker, where he breaks the pool stick, pool cue in half and throws it on the ground and says, we're having tryouts,
Yes.
Is that the one that he wants to go? Okay. I get you right now. But no, look, I think this is very interesting because I would have said Dana Walden was a shoo-in. Like I said before, for multiple reasons, one of which being, well, she's a female. I understand. I get that. I understand how that sounds. But you got to think, for the Walt Disney Company, they actually been wanting a female CEO. The first time that I heard about it was, I think, back in 2012, 2013, when there were conversations taking place where Kathleen Kennedy might have taken the reins of the Walt Disney Company. Yes. Yeah. Oh boy, right? That's not so good.
Out there.
They felt themselves as a progressive company. And as a progressive company, not having a female CEO, well, that was something that they wanted to overcome. So that's why when Dana Walden got into the position, it was like, oh, okay, well, maybe they're going in this direction, especially for Bob Iger's legacy, right? Appointing the first female CEO, well, that he can stick on, his feather in his cap or something like that. Erica, what do you think about all this?
I think it's a mess, and I am anxious to find out who of the lesser of all these evils are going to end up taking over my childhood and ruining it even more.
True.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yes, that's kind of how we all feel when it comes to the Walt Disney Company. It is such an important media empire that controls so much of our lives now. When it comes to media consumption, entertainment, and so forth. I mean, not just Hulu, but with the range of franchises they now have under their belt right there, and the power that they wield in Hollywood. This is why, at least Bloomberg and some others have talked about how the executives in Disney's C-suite are some of the most powerful and influential people in entertainment today. I definitely think that's true. Now, the other interesting thing about this poll here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this up as well, is that, they're not all that convinced that Bob Iger is going away. In fact, 18% of respondents, again, these are 700 Hollywood insider, industry experts, believe that Bob Iger will stick around. Guys, what do we think about, two-shower Bob maybe retaining that corner office?
Yeah. He will. He ain't going anywhere. He'll be in the shadows, pulling all the strings.
Yeah, this was another reason why I thought Dana Walden was going to stick around, because, well, Dana Walden lives in Brentwood, and so does Bob Iger. In fact, they actually took walks together during the Chapek era, and may or may not have strategized on, how to get Bob Iger back in that corner office there. Well, I guess back occupying that corner office, because he never like relinquish that corner office. It's a whole big controversy. Nolan, what do we think about Bob Iger? Culture. What do we think about the possibility of Bob Iger sticking around, as 700 industry experts have, when polled, have said that might actually happen? Whoever wants to go first.
If I'll go ahead and chime in if you don't mind here. I think it's very likely that he's going to stick around a little longer than what we're anticipating, because you have to think into the mindset that Bob Iger has right now. I know it can be a scary place if you're a Disney fan. He's done a lot of things we don't agree with. But if you're trying to think long term, usually when, very rich people get to a certain spot in their life, it becomes less about how many profits you're going to make and more about what your legacy overall is going to be. We saw this with like Henry Ford with Fordlandia years and years ago. Bob Iger seemed like he was interested in getting into that political sphere, make a running, maybe like president or whatever have you. And of course, that kind of fell through and he hasn't really gone anywhere with that. Now he's in a position where he's once again back at the Walt Disney Company, and he's probably going to do whatever move is going to get that prize he is eyeing. I don't know whether that is, Wall Street, whether that's going to be a governor somewhere. But I wouldn't be surprised we might start seeing some more surprise moves, like going for Walt tomorrow all of a sudden. I think it just comes back to a major strategy of how is he going to project himself to what he wants to see. And I don't think it's going to be just one of those, I'm going to put Anna Walden here because she's female and that's going to make me look good in the end. He's probably gauging on, hey, what's going on in the political sense? Is that still a trendy thing to do? And I think there's a very big plan going on behind the scenes. I don't think it's necessarily what's best for the Walt Disney Company. I think it's what's best for Bob Iger. Now, will that be tomorrow or Walden? I'm not sure quite yet, but I'm sure there's going to be surprise curveballs coming here in the near future.
Culture. Bloomberg polled 700 Hollywood industry experts, quote unquote. And they're convinced that that Josh D'Amaro actually is in the lead position to grab the CEO spot. But they also said that a co-CEO-ship was not out of the question. I guess 15% of respondents believe that Disney will opt for a co-CEO structure. 18% for the return of Bob Iger, Dana Walden, and then Josh D'Amaro at the top right there. What do you think about those results? Have any commentary on all of that?
I wouldn't be surprised by a co-CEO movement because Disney's all about diluting their lack of leadership. They have such poor leadership within the company right now that if you're only looking at those two candidates and you're only looking at internal leaders, I mean, you've got big problems. Josh D'Amaro has not done anything good for parks. If anything, he's disappointed the parks fans since he was put in his most recent position as head of parks and experiences. Dana Walden is a disappointment because they expected much more quality production out of her and out of her experiences. And she came in with the Fox garbage and the family involvement in the globalist political movements of Europe and other garbage too. So you literally have two garbage candidates that are incapable of leading a company solo. So that's why it wouldn't surprise me if you ended up with co-CEOs. If I were to go blindly into the Disney company, if I were to walk into a leadership position, I would be looking at it as a reclamation project. And I don't think either of those people will do that. And I think they're just going to listen, as is being suggested, to what Bob Iger would prefer. And that's a problem because once again, it will never really leave the era of Iger. And that's a huge problem. The company is stuck in a poor idea mode with terrible leadership, with departments that are destructive to not only the internal but the external operation of the company. The entertainment division was decimated and live entertainment went along with it. So the tip of the hat to the Disney TV channel and everything else that used to exist doesn't exist. And there really is nobody to replenish any area of creative within the company. They don't bring in, and we've talked about it, they don't bring in quality Hollywood people that are still in the creative side of the industry to replenish the areas of the company that are so empty and devoid of that. You have vacuous, lack of idea peoples that were in leadership positions that destroyed entire divisions like Pixar and Lucasfilm. And I mean, I can go on, but it's been evident. Anybody that's paying attention and knows the players that are involved, just look at the Disney company being gutted by the strict adherence to political correctness and politics as a larger element that, it's really damaged the company. It's damaged the company brand, and it's damaged its future. So you have entire brands that are no longer useful. And we're going to get a demonstration of that with Marvel's Doomsday. Because let me tell you, nobody's singing the praises of the teasers and all the crap that just got released. And nobody's been, shouting about what was been going on with Avatar other than the folks in China. And despite the success of Zootopia, I'm looking at Disney Animation saying, you really haven't done well with that. Live action is dead for them, despite their best efforts to reboot with Tangled and, not dynamically casting that against type, amongst other terrible decisions they've made along the way. But the avoidance of some of the lessons learned has been the greatest limiting factor. I could go on forever. There's 1,000 ways that this company has not just a lack of leadership, but a lack of vision. Iger has never possessed vision. He's really just worked harder and harder to leverage his power through acquisitions. And let me tell you, I believe what Chris Gore says, what WDW Pro espouses, and what I think Jonas would agree with is that it only takes Disney and Bob Iger a decade to remove all value from any franchise property.
It's really astounding. I think the term is, okay, if you want to make $1 million, just hand Disney $1 billion. It's kind of what's been going on there. And that's the thing too. I mean, we focus on the internal candidates because Disney is obviously, but the Walt Disney Company, it doesn't need the status quo. It needs a shakeup. So when I hear about we've extended the contracts for a lot of the players within Disney currently in order to maintain talent throughout the organization, it's like that's not exactly what the company needs, and not exactly what fans want to hear. They want to hear that things are going to be changing and changing for the better. This idea that we're going to go ahead and get somebody that's that's within the institution like Josh Giamaro. He's been there for, I think, something like 30 years or something like that. And we're going to just continue that course of action right there, but just from a different pair of jeans, I guess. It's just is not something that is encouraging. And I think Wall Street would like a shakeup as well. We'll have to see what actually happens here, but just know that Hollywood itself, among these industry insiders, they believe that Josh Giamaro will be taking that top slot. Now, again, Dana Walden had won out every single previous year that this poll had been conducted by Bloomberg. Now, Josh Giamaro, I guess it's his game to lose at this point.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.